7:35 on this Monday, August 17th. Now we've got with us our good friend Bill Burdick. And Bill, it's good to have you back. How you been?
How you doing? Glad to be back.
Yeah. Normally we talk about the postcard and stamp show. This time you've got the 7th annual coin and currency show coming up this weekend. That sounds interesting.
Yeah, it is. There's everybody's always interested in money, not only what it can do for you, but just the history and the romance of how things were, what they made, and why they made it.
Interesting. Let's see. You've got U.S. and foreign coins, proof sets, silver dollars, mint sets, bullion, metals, tokens, collector supplies, gold, silver, rolls, commemoratives, and currency. All kinds of things coming in for this show.
That'll all be there, as well as I think there'll be a lot of variety of currencies. We have dealers there that will not only do free estimates, but they're also there to buy and sell.
So I look at a coin, I think, okay, so that was minted in 1949. What about the history behind some of these coins? Nickels, dollars, quarters, half dollars.
That's the interesting part of collecting, especially with coins. Why did they make it? How many did they make? Where was it made? Why was it made? What's it made out of? Who designed it? A lot of it goes back as part of our history. It's nothing that we as Americans decided then. A lot of it came from our British ancestors.
Really?
In 1793, when that was the first time coins were produced by the United States of America, we had half pennies,
Really?
which ties in with the British halfpenny.
Yeah.
And we didn't really have half pennies. We had half cents. British made pennies. Americans made cents, in more than one term.
Yeah.
And we had 2-cent pieces, and 3-cent pieces, and half dimes, which were before nickels. Half dimes were very thin, probably a little bit bigger than a number 2 pencil around.
Really? So how did the coins get their name? Where did the term penny come from? Or dime?
Well, the penny came from, that's part of the British money. They had halfpennies, they had pennies, they had 2 pence, 3 pence, shillings, and pounds was their currency before they changed over to the decimal system in more modern years. So most of the stock of Americans, there was deeply rooted in a lot of the traditional and history of British. So things evolved. You changed it to be independent, and things evolved from that point on, what the currencies were needed. An interesting thing about coins is there are denominations of coins that people didn't know existed, but there are also subject matter on coins that people did not know existed either.
Really?
We have, in our past, we've had a foreign ruler on our quarter, which was Queen Isabella, and that was produced in 1893. And around the same time period was Lafayette, was put on a silver dollar.
Really?
And in more modern times, subject matter on some half dollars from 1946 to 1953, which were made for circulation, contained 2 African Americans. And that really shocks most people because they've never seen half dollars with those individuals on. You had Booker T. Washington and George Washington Carver.
Really? And what year did that happen?
1946 to 1953 or 54, and they were produced at the Denver, Philadelphia, and San Francisco mints.
Interesting. So what happens if you run across one of these coins?
They're still valid. They're valid for, none of our coinage has ever been demonetized.
Really?
It's just like the United States stamps. They have never been demonetized. From the Civil War on, they're still valid per postage, no matter what the denomination is.
So if you had a stamp from 1875 for 1 penny, it's still valid?
Correct.
My goodness.
That's one of the things that only exists in America, that everything is permanent and it's stable. Every other country, a lot of their currency, a lot of their money is only good for 8 or 9 years, then it's demonetized and they come up with new items.
So the foundation of the money, what has stabilized the foundation of our currency?
The ability that it won't lose value. I mean, there's no currency in the world that's backed like it used to be by precious metals. It's all fiat currency that, it's like it says on there, in God we trust.
Mm-hmm.
It is the world's strongest currency, although there are modifications in the currency world that could develop into something else. There's talk about the Chinese and the Russians trying to come up with a currency that might compete with the American dollar for being more stable. The euro in Europe is stable, but where a lot of the individual countries used to make their own money, they had a lot of fluctuation as value up and down.
Huh. Interesting. Okay, so you've got a kid, goes to Grandpa and Grandma's house, gets in a chest of drawers. Hey, Grandpa, look here. What's all these old coins? How do you tell what's valuable and what's not?
There is a small catalog called the Red Book, and it lists all of the coins that were made by the United States. It reflects the miniatures. It reflects the average retail value at the time of printing, in the various conditions that they grade coins. And there's a grading called very good, fine, very fine, extra fine. And in the last 40 years, those grades have gotten to be, they have assigned numbers to them. So you heard people say MS 60, which is mint state 60, an average uncirculated coin. MS 63 would be maybe a coin that has less abrasion marks from where coins come off the printing hopper and fall into a bag. Maybe some coins have less nicks in them from being handled or moved around. So there's different grades, and it depends on what mint it was made out of. Some mints have more production than others. Of course, they'll be more available than the mints that had a lesser production. So over the years, the lesser production mints, those coins probably would be more difficult to attain for a beginner and command a premium.
But I tell you what I've been doing. I'm a record collector. That's kind of my wintertime hobby. And this year I went through and I got rid of about 700 albums. Stuff, it's time to turn the inventory over. Well, I've got the Goldmine Price Guide. And Goldmine Magazine has got this price guide on albums. Of course, this came out 19 years ago. But I'll go through there. And I was going through there and found a Mercury record by Red Prysock called Rock and Roll, put out in 1955. And there again, the values with record collecting, it's called mint, near mint, good, fine, poor, whatever. Well, this was near mint. I found it on eBay for $20, but yet the Goldmine Price Guide had it at $200.
Wow.
So that's how I've been collecting records. I've been going through the price guide and find them on eBay. Can you do that with coins?
Yes. There are coins that, unbeknownst to certain people, they might be clearing out their, somebody passed away, they cleared out all this loose change that was in their top dresser drawer and just turned it into the bank or spent it.
Yeah.
And not aware of the value it may have had to a collector. And that's quite common. Another way coins get into older coins may get into circulation. This little baby Joey got a hold of some of Dad's coin collection and spent them in a gumball machine or at the candy store. Or somebody doesn't know what something is worth and just puts it in the garage sale and just puts a price out of the sky on it.
Yeah, I've seen that happen. You know, I was in Poplar Bluff, Missouri one time. I was going through a stack of records. How much for this one? 25 cents, had them a quarter. Ultra rare album, you know. So if you're, what one coin does everybody seek? What is the most sought after collectible coin? Is there any particular one?
Well, every series of coins, and the series in my description would be is Mercury dimes were made from 1916 to 1945, 46.
Through the war.
And then started a Roosevelt dime in 1946, and that's design is continued, still in circulation.
Yeah.
Now in the Mercury dimes, the first year, 1916, Denver did not produce many dimes. They are scarce as hen's teeth. I've seen a few. They've always been in a very worn condition, but I've never owned one myself.
Really?
And
so a Mercury dime
in Mint States, they're thousands of dollars.
Really?
In average circulation size, they could be hundreds of dollars.
Wow.
It all depends. And yet there are stories that I have heard, like everything else. It doesn't make any difference how many were made. It's what makes the difference is how many people want it.
Yeah.
And there's a story that was in the American Numismatists Association book 13, 15 years ago. There was an Indian coin that was only described in an earlier gentleman's writings, was a sketch of it. There was no known copies. Well, some years ago, somebody came up with one. And it went on auction, and it went for almost $10,000. I think it was purchased by a museum in St. Louis. About 3 years later, another one came on auction. It sold for $400.
Huh.
Typically, the auction there were two bidders. The second auction there were only one.
Huh. Interesting.
So it's how many people are interested. There are a lot of coins, say like in silver dollars that are, or say half dollars. Not too many people collect the older half a dollars from the early 1800s in the series. They may collect only one of that design.
Right.
And they'll go for the cheapest one in the best condition.
Huh.
So you could have one that is in really worn condition. Nobody's interested in as much as they would be in a nicer condition. Because they only want one. They want something to represent one coin from each type of printing style.
Talk a little bit about the upcoming show, the 7th Annual Coin and Currency Show, August 21st, 22nd. Friday 9 to 5, Saturday 9 to 4 at Ramada Inn's Convention Center.
Right. We have a couple of things this year we haven't had in the past. The club has gotten 4 new showcases. It'll be the first time that there'll be exhibits showing currency and coins, and some coins that are not normally seen. You might see some half cents or 2-cent pieces or 3-cent pieces. They even made for a few years a 20-cent piece.
Really?
And it was not very well received by the public because it was similar in size to the quarter, a little bit smaller. But it was
kind of like the Susan B. Anthony dollar.
Yes.
I wonder how many of those were put in Coke machines that clogged it up.
I think there is still a substantial amount of those at the Treasury Department that were never released. They stopped the presidential brass-style dollars that they're producing today. I think about the last 3-4 years ago, they stopped releasing them for general circulation. They still make them. They're available to collectors. You have to order them direct from the mint.
What about the $2 bill? You know, they came up with a $2 bill, in the late 70s, early 80s?
They still make them. They still make $2 bills. They're still in circulation.
Really? How do you get those?
You can get them from the bank or let them know you want some. I enjoy sometime when I'm traveling to get a lot of the these so-called brass-colored dollars and $2 bills, and then spend it at a restaurant and watch in puzzlement where the clerk doesn't know where to put them. There's no place for them.
Yeah, no place in the coin drawer.
$50, brass dollars,
yeah.
all those coins of sizes that are not very popular.
Had him a $2 bill and a Susan B. Anthony. See what they do with it.
We had one time a clerk looked at the money, didn't know what it was, and took the money in his hands over to the manager to ask him what the stuff was.
What is this stuff? What else do we need to know about this show coming up, Bill?
The other thing we have this year, first time, we have a representative from the Boy Scouts of America that will be there Saturday, and he's holding classes on coin collecting so that scouters interested in obtaining the coin collecting merit badge can have a possibility of getting started, or if they spend all day, getting it completed.
Cool. That sounds good. Ooh, we better take a quick break. Haven't been watching the clock. We're visiting with Bill Burdick. We're talking about the 7th Annual Coin and Currency Show. It takes place this Friday and Saturday. Friday 9 to 5, Saturday 9 to 4 at Ramada Inn's Convention Center. $1 admission is good for both days. 16 and under are free. It's sponsored by the North Central Arkansas Coin Club. We will be right back. 7:54, continuing our discussion with Bill Burdick about the Coin and Currency Show coming up. Bill?
One thing for folks to be aware of, we're going to have a couple of dealers that will have coin and currency collecting supplies available. So if you need those little folders for youngsters to start where you can push the coins in the holes as you acquire them, or they have the little more fancier books for seniors that have coins that are the substance is greater in condition or value. They'll have coin tubes, they'll have coin flips, currency holders, books. They'll have those red book catalogs, which gives you values. That will be for sale as well.
And that all takes place this weekend, August 21st and 22nd, the 7th Annual Coin and Currency Show at Ramada Inn's Convention Center. $1 admission, good for both days. 16 and under are free. Friday 9 to 5, Saturday 9 to 4. How's that? So it's good to see you, Bill. Good to have you come in here. Real quick, an update from Senator John Bozeman's office. The mobile office for Senator John Bozeman will be at Cotter City Hall at 115 McLean Avenue in Cotter on Wednesday, August 19th from 10 a.m. to noon. For more information, contact Senator Bozeman's office at 424-0129. The senator will not be in town, but his staff will be. This is the mobile office with his local staff. So if you have any questions for the senator, they will be directly directed to Senator Bozeman. That takes place 10 a.m. to noon on August 19th, Cotter City Hall, 115 McLean Avenue in Cotter, Arkansas. That wraps it up. Thanks for Mike Sis for being here. Bill Burdick, the Coin and Currency Show coming up this weekend. That wraps it up. We'll see you tomorrow, everybody. Have a great day.